Well, well, well. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Another opportunity to get after it, another opportunity to get better, quite frankly. It is whatever day it is. I don't know what day it is. Monday. So we're going to start with a little weekly analysis, understanding. We want to understand what the possibilities are for today. I will say really quickly here as we open up the stream, we do have this obvious gap down below that we want to be aware of. We want to be aware of the gap, be aware of the gap. All right. So we pushed up settlement. We're up like 300 or so points from the gap up. Okay. So we want to be cognizant of that. We had a P-shaped VP closed on Friday, but there's a gap. There was some news that the China tariffs are off, so the taco trade working out again. If you're here, go ahead and say what's up in the chat. I know I wasn't on last week. Last week was our first week open for business at the new HQ, so I was busy. I was very, very busy. But we're back. We are back. Like we never freaking left, folks. So we're coming down here. Why is my VP not loading? Come on. Do we consolidate here in the morning or do we go for an early gap fill? It's a good question to ask. Let me open up the calendar for this week. We have no tier 1 data today. Actually, let me open this up in a different window so I can see you guys in the chat. Quad, good morning. What's up? No tier 1 data today. And we've got Australian CPI, FOMC, yeah, nothing really tier 1 wise today. So let's go ahead and go to the daily. Go to the 1 day. Okay, so we still have our macro targets higher, by the way. Get this on ES or NQ. So I have this possible December high. If we maintain a measured move on the monthly chart, you can see that we are moving towards that. Okay, still moving higher, still in an uptrend, still holding this macro line. We retested it on that latest Trump tantrum. Okay, came down, retested the trend line. We're still in an uptrend. Had a nice bullish reaction as well. Did our W pattern, okay, that I mentioned. We probably W, ended up Wing. I thought originally we were going to W on the 4 hour, ended up doing like a W on the daily. Okay, worked out just fine. Okay, same thing on ES here. But what I want is for my VP to load, and it's really just not loading. On ES here, if we ask ourselves what liquidity matters and how do we get there, okay, there's a very obvious shelf down below us. Okay, we've got this node right here. Last auction was there, previous all-time highs. If we come down, okay, and we want to do like an in-shape bounce on the daily, okay, we're likely going to do something like that, okay? That would be the move that I would anticipate. Romeo GQ, good morning. Welcome back to the stream. Quad again, welcome back to the stream. Guys, if you're just now joining, come say what's up in the chat. Just doing a little bit of high-level analysis before we jump in here. Got about 22 minutes until our 10 a.m. closes. That'll give us our next 4-hour candle. So we got this node below us down here on ES. Okay, we'll full screen this chart. This node here, we've got this major shelf, and then there's a very obvious, we'll still this block way down there because we don't need it. Okay, there's also this obvious little node here. Okay, so we do the gap fill, we can come to this little auction. It's much lower volume, right, than down here. So obviously, we could retest that because but because it's more shallow, we might go for this node here, or retest this trend line. Okay, trend line retest is always on the table. ES did kind of bisect this trend line, okay, quite a bit. I'm going to leave it here for the 1-2 touch. It could be support again right around this node or even this node, but we did already slice through it. Let's take a full screen look at NQ here, if it will let me. There we go. All right, so the big red line up here is my target. That's the thing that I've been trading into for the last 2 months. Since whenever I put this up, you can look back in time at my streams. Okay, we've just been holding long, okay, looking for this target. Got an alert from something. Oh, my UPS alert was triggered. Hey, let's go. Check if October closes above this shelf. Oh, so we hit my alert on UPS. I want to see if we close above this shelf. I'm going to do another one here, actually, higher. Confirmation. If UPS reverses, make a ton of money on along there. Or just upside in general. By the way, just because we have a gap here doesn't mean we'll immediately go for it. Okay, we could consolidate, come for it tomorrow. But the shelves are the same. Dude, load my volume profile. What is going on? There we go. So you can see here our previous measured move target, right? So this was a measured move target higher. This was a previous level that we traded into, has now become the edge of an auction, and it has become support, very obvious support here. Again, VP shows us where people are positioned, right? It gives us credibility to every single level. Yeah, never fill the other lower gap. Exactly. So gaps don't always get filled. Very important note. But when the market shows its hand, like coming back to an area, it gives us something to kind of like trade into. But that is true. Gaps do not always get filled. OG Trade, what's up? Good morning. Good morning. Scoot over a little bit. I'm on the edge of my camera here. Ah, that's good. Some Cuban coffee in the morning. Love that. Love that for me. So not too much on the macro other than we're in an uptrend, okay? There's a gap here, major shelf here, target higher is there. Obviously, we could look at if we look at the previous day close, let's just go to the 4-hour. Previous day high and low, previous day close, previous day, okay, close right up in here. The low is irrelevant and the previous day high is irrelevant. Both of those levels aren't really on the table. Previous day low was in the middle of a very bullish continuation. So the most important level here is going to be actually the POC that's showing on the screen here and the VRVP. We can actually turn that off. We can basically tell where it is with our eyes. Had that on for a YouTube video I was recording. So there's this shelf down here, which is the point of control on the screen, but it's also the most relevant low. Okay, if we swept this low down here, okay, let's call this the edge of the shelf. Edge of shelf target for N-shape continuation. Okay, that'd be an N-shape bounce. There, down here, it would actually be a sweep target. So this would be a low to sweep, okay? Come down here, we sweep this low, we'll put in a higher high off of these lows. We conveniently have a trend line here, which would hold us the whole thing together. Okay, so this is what the price action would look like. We come down, sweep these lows somewhere in here, or even do a trend line retest and probably consolidate like that. That's not going to happen today. That's a pretty extensive move, okay? But that would just be like a macro thesis, possibly on the week, okay? On the weekly, that would end up looking like a red candle, okay? We gapped up, we come down, we finish somewhere down in here, probably, okay? I will say if this candle is green, we're going to make a very fast move to 26,571, that previous target. We've got 16 minutes till next candle closes. Not really looking for anything here. Mondays, always just getting our bearings. Frogs, what's up? Good morning. Welcome back to the pond, my friend. How have you been? What's the latest? Why were you not in the pond? Taking a much needed break, perhaps? Totally understandable. Totally understandable if that was the case. 50% on the gap would be like right around here. 50% gap fill. We don't need a fib tool for that. The funny thing about the Fibonacci tool, to me, when people talk about like these fib retests, it's like you can just eyeball it 90% of the time. Don't need to bust out a measuring stick. Good, took some time to reset my brazen. I know you meant brain. That's good, man. It's good to rest. Yeah, take a little break. Take a little break. Nothing wrong with that. I'm going to grab something here for my editor real quick. Off screen. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? By the way, if you're not aware, okay, I'm doing my free webinar this Thursday. Okay. You can sign up, get your spot right there, 7 p.m. It's going to be covering literally everything. Come and check that out. The most money has been made swinging long in this. I do want to talk about that this morning, okay? Most money to be made is in swing longs, okay? Obviously, day trade longs are cool. Day trading is cool. But if you would have, for example, this long right here, I know Sol actually made I think like 30K shorting this move. This was a nice short with a very clear level to short into, so that was totally possible. But in terms of easy mode, okay, I feel like a super duper broken record, but I feel like it's important to say we're in a very clear uptrend, okay? We have a target higher. Your goal every day should be, how can I find the low of the day, okay? If you can focus on finding the low of any given session, you'll basically maximize your EV within a week or in a few days, okay? Any one of these lows, right, would be a good low to hold. And you're probably making more money doing that than you would if you were, day trading, right? Not always, but in the long term, 100% you will. So incorporate that into your trading. Ask yourself, what is the likely low of the day, okay? And there's two things. Whoa. Okay. If I missed it, what should I do? Okay. If you miss the low of the day in an uptrend, what should you do? You could get in late. You could do nothing. Okay. Both are valid responses. If you did miss it, is there going to be a pullback? Where's the likely pullback? Okay. If I did miss it, what is the likely pullback? Those are good questions to ask yourself. Okay, if you have a higher time frame thesis and the current lower time frame is not in your favor, then just wait until the current lower time frame is back in your favor for your higher time frame thesis. You'll make way more money and you'll trade less. I'm getting text messages. Hold up. on, guys. Still running a company while doing this at the same time. Let's go. What day is this? This is tomorrow. Sick. Oh. I think I'm going to start my own prop company, guys. I really should. With all the stuff that I know, I think I could do it better than probably everybody else. Might just have to assemble the super team. What do you guys think? Should I start a prop firm? Conquistador back in the house. Welcome back, brother. Always good to see OGs in the building. Welcome back to the party. So, if there's two possibilities for today, there's obviously the gap fill. Let's talk about a really grindy type of price action. Let's say we come down, we grind lower, we get a fat red. Previous day VAL is a very apt target. It's really this node though, all right? This node here. So we can even smoke the VAL a little bit. Come down this node, you can see it's on the VRVP. So this node, cleaning these people up is possible. If you're new here and you're like, why does this node matter in the first place? Well, these people have been here for one day. Okay, they've been in these positions for a day. Anybody who is short off of this is going to provide buy-side pressure, right? They're going to be marketing in the longs as soon as we get back into this auction. Okay, so we're going to get a little reaction here, for sure. I saw someone in the Discord the other day, or wherever they were like, man, I just started using the VP, and now I understand why there's these random, reactions in the market. It's like, yeah, it's because people position there. People have to act around their positions. They have to. Okay, if you just think like that instead of thinking they might or maybe something, no, they have to. Just like you freak out when the market gets back to your entry and you're worried about it going against you, the guy with the $5 million position is having the exact same thought process. Exactly the same. SMK Prabhu, good morning. DAHC currency. I can't remember how you told me to pronounce that, but I'm going to stick with DAHC currency, brother. Welcome back to the best place on the internet. I was listening to Myron Golden the other day. I'm going to share this with all you guys that's thought about it. I'm paraphrasing. I can't remember what it is. I'm all about positivity and mindset. And he said, positivity doesn't determine what's possible, but it does make the things that are possible easier and easier to start. Okay. Easier to start might be what I added, but I think it does, guys. So as you show up in trading and in your life, be positive. Choose to be positive. Start your day with positive thinking. Put some positive stuff into your brain. It's really, really powerful. It's not going to make it so that you can fly. It's not going to make it so that you can do jobs you're not prepared to do. But for the things that you're prepared for and for the opportunities that present themselves to you, right, if you arrive with a positive attitude, they're going to be easier. And your chance of being successful at them is going to be exponentially higher. So, just wanted to speak that into y'all this morning. Be positive. Yeah, part of my morning routine is listening to motivational videos. First thing I do every single day when I wake up is I put on something positive because it's something that I can control. Doesn't matter how fucked up my night was before. Doesn't matter if I didn't sleep well or whatever it is. I just put it on because I can control it. And there could be a freaking meteor shower. The world's going to end in 30 minutes. I'd start my day with a positive YouTube video, assuming YouTube was still online. Because why not? Hey, first time on the stream. Coincidentally, I trade VP2 and been profitable in my first eval with TPT. I appreciate the knowledge. Awesome. Yeah, if you look at a lot of my old videos, I used to trade with a few different indicators. The reason that I literally just use 2 different flavors of the volume profile is it tells me everything that I need to know. Now, there are some technicals that I use, mostly just trends and like measured moves and stuff like that. Okay, that's kind of baked into this. But what I'm most, man, I'm gassy. I'm trying not to burp into the mic. What I'm most interested in as a trader, okay, which is a speculator, if I'm trying to speculate around prices, is where people's basis are. Okay, it makes a lot of sense. If you know where people's basis is, you know when they have to make a decision. There's a lot of middle ground where we can't really have too much bias about where people have to make a decision. But again, with the VP, we know that people have to make a decision here. We know they have to make decisions down here. And as we continue to zoom out or look at different time frames, there's some areas where it's very obvious where people have to act. And that is why we trade the volume profile. Another P shape in the morning. 4 hour closes in 4 minutes. Also, for anyone new here, I trade mostly the 4 hour chart. Okay. 4 hour, 1 hour. Let's see what we do here. There's some fire music in my ear holes right now. Fire. Hey man, just discovered you through MFF TV. First time here. Do you use breakout, mean reversion, or volume profile? High value node, low value node. Abhishek. There's a guy on MF TV called Abhishek, actually. Breakout and mean reversion. I trade. So in terms of the setups, I actually have a free journal, which you just reminded me that I need to give this template to my. I'll drop the template for you guys in the chat, actually. So this was actually a. So this is one of my playbook setups that I gave out for free. So that's a mean reversion trade. And there's a prior POC retest trade. Okay, so this is the other kind of template for that. So we should have some OGs in the chat. There's 4 key areas we look for every day. What are they, squad? I'll be patient. Iteration is the key to consistency, so we'll say it again. 4 key areas every single day. There it is. Prior day high, prior day low, overnight high, overnight low. Okay? Prior day high, prior day low, overnight high, overnight low. So these are the areas where we even consider taking a trade. So sweeping these areas. This also extends into like, these are the simplest form of it. But overnight high, overnight low may or may not be on the table. Okay, prior day high, prior day low may or may not be on the table, which in that case, like right now is a perfect example. prior day low isn't really relevant. Also, in this uptrend, prior day value area low has been a really key area to take longs off of. So you still have to do some generic pattern analysis. But in my system that I teach, VPE system, these are the areas where it's like, if you want the A trade, just wait for a sweep of this area because we know that we've cleaned up the most recent auction. Okay, we want confluence with these areas. We want confluence at these areas with, let's just call nodes. Whether you're looking at high value or low value nodes, right? A low value node is next to a high value node, right? So you can see here, this blue or yellow line at 25,327 is the edge of a high value node. Okay, so what we should expect to happen is that we arrive at a shelf here, right? There are people whose basis or participation ends here, and there's a low value area here. Okay, low value area, then another node right here. So we should expect to traverse this area with no value or low value quickly, and then we should expect reactions at the edges of these nodes. So confluence with those expectations, with some very, very simple technicals, is what allows us to snipe entries. For example, okay, let's just zoom way back out to here. This long here, trend line retest, this was the day where tons of panic happened because of the tariff announcement. Look at how freaking sexy and perfect it is with the edge of this auction. You think that's coincidence? No. All these people are like, I don't know what's going to happen. They're knife catching, they're knife catching, they're knife catching, they're knife catching. And it's very obvious. There's so much confluence with this trend line in the edge of this shelf here. I mean, this is like $1 million of value in 30 seconds. But people overcomplicate the heck out of trading. This is where the market is going to go. It's so freaking obvious. Okay? So that was a nasty long to take. Free freaking money. And I guarantee you, okay, what's going to happen again, it's going to freaking happen again. Okay? The market's going to do this. I'm going to tell you guys exactly what's going to happen. 80%, 90, actually way more than 80% of people are going to miss it. Okay, we're going to do some doodad like this. The market's going to come back, and it's going to retest the trend line again at the edge of this auction. Okay? It's going to happen. And everyone's going to be freaking out just how they were before because everyone's bad. So that's the short version of how I trade, basically. But we mix in some technicals and things like that. Many of us in Trade Edge, Discord do mean reversion trades. Yep, so we have a Discord community. A few of them are on here. It's called Trade Edge. So we trade the edges. Specifically in an uptrend, also what I try to enable people to do and give the tools to do is find the low of the day. Okay, in an uptrend, you want to ask yourself, how can I find the low of the day? If that's not possible, maybe you don't trade on the day. But mean reversions in general, very powerful tools. I'll reshare this whole page as well. Right, this is from that 30-day challenge I did if anybody wants it. Okay, I took the time to put that together. There's a checklist of videos in there. There's tons of stuff. Copy the whole thing, use it, journal, do whatever you want with it. That's why I make this stuff. We're pushing up here. 4 hour just closed. So let's look at our 4 hour chart. Get our session VP back. So we're having our P-shaped continuation, very bullish continuation here. Gap still on the table today. We'll see what happens once we push across this high. Let's get ES back in the game. We'll put ES on the 1 hour over here. And let's see. P-shape. Okay, the actual range isn't too big, right? We gapped up, but the actual range of price isn't too big right now. I want y'all to keep that in mind, okay? We just swept the high on ES here. Swept this high. Very strong node here. Okay, it's not really a D shape. It's still a P shape VP, but Just swept that high. So let's see if we range inside of this node to here. If we reject, come lower, come for the gap fill. We need to hold above the value area high and start building value here for us to continue higher. If we start seeing that value get built and specifically holding above the value area high, then yeah, we'll get a nice little second leg continuation to about here. Probably like 25,990, something like that. Usually go for a short walk before sunrise. Love that. Been rereading Outwitting the Devil. Yep. Massive. Outwit that devil. I'll tell you guys something I've been frustrated with. Can I tell you guys some of my frustrations? I don't want you to hold this, but I do want to vent. I want to vent with some friendlies. I reach out to this guy, right? Works on thumbnails for a lot of big YouTubers. And part of the reason I haven't posted too many videos is because I was trying to work with this guy to help him like improve my channel, right? I want to be a good YouTuber. I want to be good at everything that I do. I want to be a good trader. I want to be a good teacher. I want to be a good YouTuber so that I have the opportunity to teach more people. Okay? I'm not the best thumbnail creator. I've always relied on other people to help me with some of these other aspects of my channel and stuff like that. It's really hard to find good people. So I get connected with the guy. He's like, yeah, I'm excited to work with you, blah, 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 blah. You know, just completely unresponsive. And I know what it is because he's a young guy, first and foremost. He's busy. He has clients that are way bigger than I would be. And what I wish he would have said to me was, hey, man, I'm too busy to onboard you as a client. Because it's very obvious to me that he's just too busy to onboard me as a client, right? Because I kind of came in through like a friend of a friend, right? And I wish he would have just said no. But instead, I was kind of like holding off on like putting stuff out there and doing all that. Which, again, I could have just not did. But, you know, money loves speed. And, you know, if we say go, you know, I'm ready to go. So that was really annoying. So I got to restart my whole engine on that again. Really, really frustrating. It's so hard to find people that just will do what they say they're going to do. Straight up. Straight up. But I deal with that across the board. I had a guy who was an editor who worked for me. Still waiting on content from him that he said was going to be done in, I think it's supposed to be done in July originally. Still not done. Then he sent me this long-ass winded message saying it'd be done at the end of August. Still not done. September ended. Message was like, hey, where's this at? He gave me some wishy-washy response like, just believe in me, blah, blah. Still not done. And it's like, I'm just asking you to do what you said you're going to do, bro. Like you gave me the deadlines. I didn't even make the deadlines. That's the crazy part. He made the deadlines. Missed all of them. People. So mean reversion is kind of low of the day range. Should we trade it based on candlestick reaction, or we have to look for delta also? You don't need delta. So all a mean reversion trade is a good question. So what do we mean by mean reversion? Okay. So the technical definition of mean is average, right? So we're kind of being semantically incorrect in general when we talk about mean reversions. But what we're looking for are areas of interest in the market, obvious areas of interest. So the point of control, you might call a mean. So very often, if the market does let's say the market did something like this, okay? And it starts to bounce back up. This would be a mean reversion long. The question is, where is it going to go? So we take a long here. Well, we would want to trade into the point of control. The point of control is the place where we know most people are positioned within this session. Okay, so it is the mean that we trade into. The other place that you could trade into would be like if you're using a moving average. Okay, I don't use those anymore, but that's technically like an average that you could trade into. But all we mean by mean reversions is that we want the market to obviously extend itself, which is why prior day low, overnight low sweeps are such key areas to look for a mean reversion, because you know that you've cleaned up the entirety of whatever auction. Okay, let's look at an example maybe here. Okay, let's go back in time. Okay. So we go back in time to this session, and let's say we want to go long down here. Okay. Whenever we sweep this level, let's let our VP load. Okay. So can't tell if this is playing or not. It is. Whoops, I went too far. On the, let's do 30 minute. Go back. Go back. All right, so we buy one here. All right, we swept this level. This is a prior low. It's not the prior day low, but it's the most relevant low here. Prior day low is off the table because we're in a relative downtrend here. So the better we would, with this long right at this price, we wouldn't long here, but I'm in replay, so we're in a long right here. The question is, okay, where do we go to? Now, this was actually the W setup that I mentioned, so you should have been holding this long until the highs. That was free money, but let's act like I didn't call that out and say that that was the trade. Let's just assume that we're saying that this is a mean reversion trade. Well, there's a point of control right here. So what I would do is I would drag my TP up to the point of control. Okay, and that's going to be our take profit. Simple mean reversion trade. Boom, gets hit. So that's a safe exit. So what I teach, the reason why I teach those as the entries and exits is that it gives you a very conservative place to trade into. Oftentimes, like you'll see, if you zoom out on the higher time frames, there could be more money on the table. Okay, that might not be the best exit you could hold. In this case, we had a W set up on the daily. Okay, we had this trend line supporting us. You can hold this back to these highs. Okay, but as a day trade, okay, when most people are trading props, they can't hold these trades necessarily how I do. It gives you a nice day trade inside of a session. So that's why I teach, because it's useful for everybody. Also, the gamma trades that I take, you'll hear me talk about those. Those are options trades. I take a handful of those a month tops, are also mean reversion trades. The difference here is that my gamma trades have a very specific set of parameters. Okay, I know it sounds fancy. It's really not. It's just what I call them to give them a name for something. Okay, so gamma trades are just mean reversions last day of the month on a Friday. Okay. So the monthly and the weekly have to be ending on a Friday, the same Friday, and that gives me a nice gamma trade. So it's really not just that one day, but the last 2 days of the month and the first 2 days of the month are the best, are really where I hunt for options trades. And that's just based off of looking at tons of research. Doesn't mean that there aren't option trades in other days. This is just literally, this is the only days where I even care to look now. And so a big part of my strategy is just letting a lot of things go and not caring. It saves me a lot of brain cycles. I really only try to trade within, the parameters that matter to me at this point in my career. I've been trading for a long time. It also means you miss a lot of stuff. It means a lot of exciting stuff that happens in the trading world, I just straight up miss because I'm not looking. I've just learned to not care for the most part. I'm also extremely busy, so it works out. Hope that makes some sense, added some color. But yeah, welcome to the community. Glad to have you here. Check out our Discord, okay? We do have a free floor. We have a few trade coaches. We all trade the same system. So myself and Sol were the founders of the Discord, basically. Then we got as well as this system. So also trades the VPE system. We got W Dog, another great trader. Young Allen, another great trader. So they're all the trade coaches. We do free streams every Friday in there. It is a premium Discord though, just to filter out the chaff. But we do have a free floor as well. So you come hang out, chat, ask questions, and free. We will respond. And there's a 2-week free trial if you want to see what the premium stuff gets you. That reminds me, some quick shameless promotion. Okay. If you want to get some accounts, use code Forrest Trading. I appreciate it. Apex Trader Funding, use code Forrest Trading. Give you the max discount, TPT, My Funded Futures. And if you want the best server to copy trade off of, use Quant VPS. Okay. I'm using mine as like a little science server. I've got NAN running on there, doing some weekly automations, just getting market info mostly. But super fast, co-located in Chicago, N8N. Quant VPS. Should be rotating on there. Virtual private servers are how you trade on the go. If you're ever curious, how do people prop trade across 20, 30, 40 accounts, multiple firms on their iPad or their phone? You sign into a trade copier on your VPS. You need a good one, though, that's reliable to deal with the lag. You need a good connection, not just to the trading servers, but also to your remote desktop application. So you need a good service provider for that reason. But what it'll allow you to do is you log into your leader account in like TradingView or whatever on your phone, and it'll copy trade on the back end, set up a bunch of rules and stuff like that. And the major benefit to a VPS over your own computer that no one really talks about is the fact that like you don't have to fix things. You can just make a snapshot of however you want everything up. If you ever mess anything up, you just restore the snapshot. So you don't need to waste time like debugging stuff, which is honestly a huge waste of time. I don't have time for that. I'm too old. Too busy, too old. I'm trying to debug stuff. Let's turn it off, turn it back on again. Previous day high, do you mean the day before 6 p.m. every day? Good question. So, yeah, session to session. So settlement open 6 p.m. to 5 p.m. is a session. So market open 6 p.m. We have overnight. Then you have, EU regular trading hours. Market closes at 5 p.m. That's a session. Okay. In this case, there isn't really anything interesting here. Prior day high is here. So we can't really sweep prior day high because we've already swept it. Well, we gapped up beyond it. Prior day low also isn't really too relevant because it's here, right? We've got a naked POC. There's a lot of concepts to throw at you at once here, but naked POCs are also, if you look at the playbooks that I shared earlier, right? Naked POC retest is a trade. And again, in this environment, this uptrend, prior day value area high has been a node, an area to look for to long. So it's not always just do this thing. These are just the key areas to look for. But the A trades, prior day high, prior day low, overnight low, when we're in a more rangy market, those work out really well. Right now, you should be asking yourself, when we're in an uptrend, what is the low of the day? It's the only question you should be asking yourself. What's the low of the day? If you miss it today, what's going to be the low of tomorrow? And how can I get in on that? It's the only question you should be asking yourself in an uptrend. Again, macro target is 26,571. Okay, we're going long until we hit that thing. 700 points higher. Same thing when I mentioned this W trade down here. Okay, there's 1,200 points of opportunity. One MNQ, couple $1,000. One NQ, $22,000. If you didn't make $22,000 since Friday, and you've been trading more than one NQ, you're doing it wrong. I'll leave it at that. Okay? Just ask yourself, what is the low of the day? Make your life easier. Or, okay, if you're looking for a pullback, if you want to short even, what's the high of the day? You should be shorting the high of the day. You should not be shorting the middle of the day. Okay? It sounds stupid when you say it like that. But if you're going to short in an uptrend even, or at all, you should be looking for the high of the day. Trading is so simple when you just think about it simply. And I used to overcomplicate it, guys. I've been trading for a long time. I used to have movie. I've tried everything. Just don't need to do that. Wait, I need more coffee. I'm gonna text my manager right now. Can I get one more caffeine, please? Let me get another caffeine. Cool. Do need to run here in 9 minutes. What questions you guys got for me? So mean inversion is kind of the low of the day range. Should we trade it based on the candlestick reaction, or we have to look for delta also? I know I answered that already, but yeah, delta doesn't matter. You're really just looking for that node. Previous day high, you mean the day before? Yep. What's your ES macro target? Good question. Let's mark one out. I thought I had one on here already, but so to do this, we're going to go to the monthly. So when I do my measured moves, I want to find the highest time frame that I could possibly measure these things on. Okay, can't really see anything there. Let's go to the weekly. I'm going to say 7,577. That's one possibility. Eyeballing that. I could see one from here. It's just been a very choppy move up. That's the issue. But I could see this being a measured move as well. I know I'm labeling this 2. So measured move extension 1 is the one I think is more likely, and 2 I think is closer. How do I explain this simply? What's interesting about this right now is if the measured move extension 2, okay. Actually, we'll just make this make more sense for you guys. We'll call this 2, most likely. And we'll call this 1. What I'm thinking here, though, is that because this is close, we're going to enter a period of pretty extreme choppiness. Because or NQ should blow this target out the water. I'm curious what's going to happen here. We really need to pay attention to what happens to NQ at this price. Because I think we're going to slap this level out of the freaking stratosphere. Hello. Regular's good, actually. Yeah, thank you. So we'll see. Any last minute questions, folks? I'll write something up on that in the Discord. Actually, I haven't posted in the Coach Corner in a while. I like seeing the other the newer coaches' thesis. Do you enjoy reading it? Walk away. That's correct. Trade the edges, walk away. Getting some chop now. Nothing crazy here. See what happens. We swept that edge and then we came back in. We talked about it at the time. NQ is sloped up a little bit, so it could grind up higher. I'm going to get off in 4 minutes. Any other details in your live mastermind, you'll have to join and see. Good reminder. So if you haven't signed up yet, doing a webinar this Thursday. Okay. Put the link right here. Secure your spot. It's free. It's a free webinar. Going to be covering a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff. Why? Well, because I can. I love doing this. I actually just love doing this. Can I analyze gold? I can analyze anything, brother. Gold is back at this previous measured move target. I'm not sure why my volume is non-existent. Ooh. Extremely high volume on gold here. You know, if gold keeps coming down, if it doesn't find support here, we're going to come back to this node right here. I might literally put money on it. So I want you guys to look at a chart of gold throughout all of time. So this was April 2024. Okay, this is kind of an exceptional, and I do mean exceptional as in, is an exception for this ticker. Okay, it's not normal. It's abnormal. Okay. I wouldn't be surprised if it pulls back a little bit. Look at this monthly. If this closes like this, I might need to find some options on this. It'd be a nasty short. Gold could come all the way back down to here, straight up. This whole move since July 2024, I mean, it's just, there's been so much policy. The thing with the news cycle right now being so fast and compressed is that people have forgotten about the amount of like money printing and just back-to-back crap that has happened in the past year. And I would not be surprised if this reclaims most of that move. Have been trading platinum? I have not. I have not got back in since my one short attempt that I got out of slightly profitable. Let's see what happens on the monthly here. Whatever. This is the monthly chart. You know, still nothing for me there. We'll see how this monthly closes. We'll see. Very bullish day still. Go to the 1 hour. Just grinding up. Yeah, hit that like button, please, guys. Like the stream, share it, helps me grow the stream. I will be back on Wednesday. For now, I'm going to run. We'll also do the giveaway sign up on Wednesday. So for those of you who didn't realize I did giveaways, I do giveaways every single week. So we'll do the giveaway on Wednesday. And have a great, thank you, appreciate you. Have a great rest of your week. I want to leave you guys with one positive message. I'm searching for it in my brain. What do the people need? What do the people need? Somebody out there is asking themselves a question if this is for them. Okay, you've been trying. It's been hard. You've blown up a ton of accounts. Okay, it's been a rocky journey. This is for you. But it's not for the you as you are right now, okay? It's for the version of you that has all their stuff together, okay? You know what you got to do. You got to take this more seriously, act like a professional, but you can do this, okay? Everything that you want is on the other side of just a little bit of effort, a few tweaks here. We often think that we got to change our lives in a big way, but oftentimes it's just making small adjustments on a daily basis that allows us to become the ideal version of ourselves. I believe in y'all. I appreciate y'all taking the time to join me here on my YouTube channel. All 22 of you. You could be doing anything right now, but you spend a little bit of time with me. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day, an amazing rest of the week.